The reason we didn't win ultimately is we didn't listen enough to people on the ground, people like Chris Deluzio, Pat Ryan, who were saying, talk about the economy, talk about people's economic struggles.
Clearly, not enough voters knew what Democrats were going to do to make their lives better, particularly poor and working class Americans.
If you're an average working person out there, do you really think that the Democratic Party is going to the mats, taking on powerful special interests and fighting for you? I think the overwhelming answer is no.
Bernie Sanders has not won. Let me, with all due respect, and I have a great deal of respect for him, for what he stands for, but I don't respect him saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned the working class families.
Well, perception became reality when Democrats lost so convincingly across all the battleground states. I don't think Sean O'Brien is here to say I told you so, but he might be tempted. The Teamsters General President, kind enough to join us. Sean, always good having you. What happened? What do you think happened to Democrats?
Well, I think they lost touch with the working class people. It was clearly evident in the election results. And look, this was an economic election. I mean, we still have a lot of our members. We still got a lot of working class Americans that are hurt, and they felt the struggle at the pump. They felt the struggle at the grocery store. And instead of embracing and trying to find a solution to the problem, the Democrats took a position that their opinion mattered, and that's all that mattered. And they wanted to talk down to a lot of working class people. You know, the social issues are important, but at the end of the day, it's putting food on the table, being able to afford a home. And despite the rhetoric of this is the best economy ever, it really hasn't been. So that's what I believe it came down to, was an economic decision.
We're told a majority. I'm sorry, Sean. We're told a majority of your members favor Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. I don't know the full details there. I do know that when you had the opportunity to endorse a candidate, or your leadership did, you chose not to this year, and that alone sent reverberations around the political world. Do you regret now not endorsing Donald Trump outright?
No, we don't have any regrets on the process that we went through. The polling that we did was extensive. Obviously, it went towards President Trump, but we still got a large contingency that still vote Democrats. So that decision we made as a general executive board, we and I'll stand by it. The good news is that, the Democrats have an opportunity to refocus and try and reclaim why they lost the working class. And the Republicans have been saying all along they want to be the working class people. So it's a great opportunity for both sides, especially the Republican, to prove that. We've got a lot of issues that we need to get resolved in this country, and, we've got to do it.
Have you talked to President-elect Trump?
I had one conversation with him, explaining that we want to sit down and highlight and what our issues are and what our agenda is moving forward, just like we would do if Kamala Harris won.
And when was that?
That was probably 2 or 3 days after the election.
And have you arranged a meeting?
No, our both respective offices are working to try and get that done.
All right. The fact is, you were one of the first union leaders in American history to address a Republican convention. The same opportunity was not provided to you by the Democrats. Do you think that was a big mistake on their part?
I think looking back now, if they had to look back and assess, and hopefully the finger pointing will stop and the assessment will happen, I think they'll look back and say we should have had one of the most powerful labor organizations represented, the Democratic National Convention, because the message would have been the same. Democratic Party lost focus. Big tech, preyed on the Democratic Party for the reason because they want the gig economy, and the Democratic Party was going to give it to them. And my message would have been clear: look, we need to take care of the working people. We need to not facing good American jobs.
Okay, we're having some audio problems. Hopefully that was short-lived there. But I did, Sean, your counterpart at the United Auto Workers Union did go full in for Kamala Harris, and earlier was full in for for Joe Biden, and didn't even entertain the possibility of even looking at Donald Trump. In retrospect, do you think he made a mistake?
Well, clearly, I don't know what his politics are. I don't know what his decision-making process is. But our decision-making process was based on our members and intensive polling, which we released that data. And I think, based upon the election results, that pretty accurate polling we did. So I watched the episode where he was on your show, and I'm not certain what polling data he was referring to, but clearly ours was accurate and it was released.
Yeah, it was, and you were very transparent about that. I wonder what the message is for unions right now. I mean, Sean Fain, your counterpart there, was very concerned that Donald Trump returning to the office would not be the working man's friend. Obviously, the majority of working men and women, if we were to look at some of these poll samplings, were willing and happy to roll the dice on him. What do you want to see out of Donald Trump?
Well, I want to see what not only Donald Trump was saying, but a lot of the Republicans. We've got good working relationships with Senator Hawley. We've got good working relationship with Senator Marshall, and many others. We want to make certain that what they're saying and what they do is going to be consistent. They want to work with labor. They want to work with the American people, American workers. And, we want results, not excuses. And look, the great part about this whole process is we got 4 more years. If people don't, on either side, live up to their promises and or fix their problems, we got 4 years to build a machine to get the right people in there to make the right decisions on working people.
Working people is one thing, going woke is another. The big rap you hear against Democrats, Sean, is that they were so woke and so focused on issues that your members didn't care about, that your members had it and said, enough of these guys. Are you at that stage with Democrats?
The stage I'm at with the Democrats is, look, this whole election has proven it was an economic election. There's a lot of social issues out there that, need to be addressed. Or they hedged their bet too much on these social issues. Look, at the end of the day, a lot of these issues are important, but what's more important is, providing an opportunity for your family, putting food on the table, and saving some money and living the American dream. So they've got a lot of soul searching to do. And look, I said this earlier today in another interview that, the Democrat Party needs to take a look in the mirror and say, maybe Chuck Schumer's time is over. Maybe Dianne Pelosi's time is over. Let's figure out who's going to be the best for the party. And look, as an organization, we're always looking at how do we lead this organization better than we found it. I think that needs to be the focus. Look, we all have pensions for a reason. That's to use them and retire and enjoy your life. Maybe they should take a page out of Joe Biden's book and step aside.
Wow. We'll see what happens. Sean O'Brien, great catching up with you, the Teamsters General President. He speaks it as he sees it as he speaks it. That is a rare quality these days.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.